Good morning, children. This is the fifth video lesson on the last lesson. And this is the second part of the analysis series. If you did not watch the first part of analysis, subscribe the channel, go watch and come back. In the earlier session, we stopped when the story creates the ambience of suspense, the unusual changes in the classroom that really creates a suspicious atmosphere in the narrator and the reader. That is in the first part. Now we are moving on to the second part of the analysis of the lesson. First we can listen to the reading. Part by part, I will give you the analysis. While I was wondering about it all, Monsieur Hamel mounted his chair, and in the same grave, gentle tone which he had used to me, said, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine." This announcement of Monsieur Hamel is the anvil on which the story revolves. This is the order that tomorrow onwards only German can be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. So the Germans here gives the message to the villages that they are not only going to rule the territory they have captured, but they wanted to control, they wanted to rule the minds, the language, and their right of expression in the Germans' hand. This is the indication of the order from Berlin suggests. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want you to be very attentive. What a thunderclap these words were to me. Oh, the wretches! That was what they had put up at the town hall. My last French lesson. Why? I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn any more. I must stop there. Then, oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, or seeking birds' eggs, or going sliding on the sand. My books, that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry. My grammar and my history of the saints were old friends now, that I couldn't give up. And Monsieur Hamel too. The idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. The order has a second effect on France. It forces him into reassessing the value of his education. He has neglected even the simplest rules of participles that he was supposed to learn for the school that day. He has developed a love A new interest in his books. Those were seemed heavy weight for him before he hears the order. And his master, he is always a cranky and eccentric person for him. He also becomes a dear one in his mind. Poor man, it was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothing, and now I understood why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry too that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. It has become a revelation for the little narrator. He clears the doubts in his mind. Why was the crowd there in front of the bulletin board? What was the reason for the unusual silence in the classroom? Why his master was in his special day dress and the presence of the village elders there? The presence of the village elders is remarkable here. They come to the class to respect their country and show their gratitude towards their master who has served there for the last 40 years. But if we analyze the situation, we can see that these village elders are there to protest silently against their enemies, the Prussians. They don't have any weapons in their hand other than their own language, the French language. They want to protect it, at least to save their country. That's why the village elders come and sit in the classroom. While I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. It was my turn to recite. What would I not have given to be able to say the dreadful truth for the participants all through, very loud and clear, and without one mistake. But I got mixed up on the very first verse and stood there, holding on to my desk, my heart beating and not daring to look up. I heard Monsieur Hamel say to me, "I won't scold you, little Franz. You must feel bad enough. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, I have plenty of time. I will learn it tomorrow. And now you see where we have come out. That is the great trouble with Alsace. She puts off learning till tomorrow. Now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you, how is it? You pretend to be a Frenchman and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language. But you are not the worst, poor little Franz. Little Franz is unable to recite the rules of participles. At this moment, his master reminds the entire class, the whole French, put off their studies for tomorrow. It shows their mistake of not recognizing the uncertainties of life. They take in granted only for the present. The master instigates in his audience the feeling of patriotism through his words. Now they can only pretend to be a French because their language is taken away from them. This is the best way a patriotic citizen instigates the feeling of nationalism, love towards one's mother tongue, instigates in the people.